Hello, this is David Havlicek, and this is the Community Framework Plan for Site 1, chosen Module 2.2. Here is the isometric without any overlays, chosen over Site 1, which is indicated in the key plan to the bottom left. I chose this site because it's the greatest square footage, and although we have not entered programming yet, some of my ideas for land use involve mixed use, and a greater square footage of site area would be beneficial. Going into that, one of the criteria I was looking at for Module 2.1 was access to transportation and infrastructure. In this overlay, you can see I pointed out the spiral bike entry to the left of the site, which is 0.1 miles away, and 0.8 miles away, right about here, and you could technically go to one over here as well, but they're light rail stops. This one above ground, the other one is below ground. There is a parking lot that is private access, but meant for, I believe, employees at this point. That's close by. But what this helped me to look at was which streets are being used the most, which streets may be used by bikers for potentially reaching the bike path access. And I kind of came up to the conclusion that one of the best spots to isolate parking, but yet be beneficial for residents and visitors is in this corner area. Building onto that, here's land use, first in the area for isometric, but also nearby as well. In like the Los Angeles River, the highway, and then the park that's beyond the highway are all the adjacent land uses. In the site plan, there's a few things that I was looking at. So this is the approximate property line that was provided, looking at building setback from this road and looking to create a bigger setback from this area closer to residential and try to make this a public space. I'm thinking about having some private resident-only courtyard spaces as well going into this area, but I was needing a public plaza space as well. And this parking may be simply below ground, underground parking, but depending on what programming happens, it may go to 1 or 2 floors above ground is what I'm thinking. And a corridor to connect between these two streets, I think would be beneficial for bringing in, well, residents and parking to potential mixed use. But all that is to be determined from programming as well. And one big consideration too is maximizing the skyline views for residents. And I plan to have residents along this whole western part more so than the eastern part, dependent on building height regulations. Here's a starting attempt to my model. And for isometrics, I use dowels and cardboard to represent some massing ideas, and just styrofoam for now for the buildings. I was able to come up with some ideas for how many levels starting to look at of parking, but also since it's quite narrow, there's not a ton of room for dual ramps going up. So it may be just underground is may be the only possible option for parking on this site, at least for efficient usage, which might be okay. And that's been my findings so far. Thank you.